Hey, what's up, guys? This is going to be a spoiler alert for episode 3 of The Acolyte. So, in episode 3, it gave us a lot. So, let me break this down for you guys. So, it's a flashback to May and Asha's childhood, right? And we see that they were raised in a covenant of witches. So, with that being said, during this time in the High Republic, the witches were seen as dark side users, right? Didn't matter even if they were practicing the dark arts or not, they just weren't trusted by the Jedi. And it was obvious in this episode. One of the things they gave us, which is homage to the prequels, the Mother Witch and Coral, right? They manipulated the midichlorians to create life, right? Because to save their covenant. And you get these two twins, Asha and May. So when you manipulate the midichlorians to create life, you can influence the way that person's personality is. And you can right away tell that May has a personality of Coral versus the Mother Witch has a personality with Asha, right? So they share personalities. You can absolutely tell that. Now what's interesting here in this episode, this flashback episode, we see it out of Asha's eyes, right? And one of the key things that I picked up on, which kind of brought me back to the prequels, was, you remember that quote that Darth Sidious said about the Jedi have a restricted view and they only see things their way through the Force, right? And the dark side sees their things in a more grand view, right? So I kept that in mind when watching that episode because seeing it through Asha's lens and how the Jedi were telling her things but not giving her full truths to the story, you could tell the Jedi were lying to her. So then you get into what Asha is doing in this, and she wants to join the Jedi, right? May and her share a sister bond, but you could tell that May is closer to the dark side. So May views it like Coral, and Coral is, if you're not with us, you're against us, which is kind of funny because that's back to the prequels. And so when Asha decides she wants to join the Jedi, May then burns her room, trying to kill her. But what makes this very interesting, while this is going on, and I don't know if this is true yet, but from what I can tell, the Jedi were attacking the Night Sisters and slaughtering them. So while this is all going on, the Night Sisters are being killed off. May knows this, and when she sees Asha for the last time right there before the Jedi take Asha away and May falls down to what we believe is her death, she says, "You don't even know what the Jedi have done." And it's a key and it's foreshadowing to where we are now because obviously May knows what the Jedi have done, but she sees it in a different viewpoint than what Asha has seen. Asha doesn't know what the Jedi have done. And we didn't really get to see, like we saw the dead bodies, but we didn't get to really see what killed them. And it was, for me, it was pretty obvious that these guys got killed off by the Jedi. The one thing about this episode, it paid homage to a lot of Star Wars lore. The prequels, some of the books like High Republic, Darth Plagueis book. If you haven't read that, go read it. And I would say read the Bane series because you get kind of a little bit, you see why the Sith have this association with the witches. I'm excited for episode 4. I have a feeling that we're going to see the story viewpoint from now May's side. And I think we're going to figure out what killed the witches and why May is so angry at the Jedi. But again, with May, because she's influenced by Coral, I don't know if she realizes how she was born. I don't think any of them know how they were born. I don't think they know that they were born out of the midichlorians and they weren't conceived through natural birth. So it's going to be very interesting to figure that part out. And then I want to see how Asha handles the fact that possibly the Jedi had something to do with her mother and her family dying. This is going to be very interesting. This show is going to be crazy. I think this show is about to get crazy. Right now, it's just storytelling and world building right now. But I think by episode 5 and 6, it's going to get nuts.